Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And today, I'm talking about the debut album from Magic Sound Fabric, Uplift Drift. Alright then, so this is Magic Sound Fabric, aka Cameron Limbrick, and he is going to be my next discography review. I imagine at best there's like 2 people who actually know who this guy is. He's not someone I get the opportunity to talk about often. But I decided to cover this guy somewhat last minute because after spending most of this year on 2 specific discography reviews of really prolific and popular artists, I wanted to cover someone that not many people actually knew about. And this is not an artist I see anyone else besides me going out to talk about. Which is a shame because I really enjoy his music and think he deserves way better. Oh, and I also wanted to talk about someone with a much shorter catalog. This guy has 4 main albums under the Magic Sound Fabric name, an unofficial album under this name that's not really available on streaming and digitally, and 5 more albums under other aliases, Mind Transport Tools and Olulo. Those 6 albums will all get an odds and ends video later. But we're focusing on the main 4 albums he currently has under this name, available in all the usual places since I know them the best. So why don't we get into it? So as you might be able to pick up from the music being played in the background right now, Magic Sound Fabric is a down-tempo artist involving many dub and ambient elements. I discovered the guy so many years ago, I think when I was still in high school. At the time I was really getting into sounds from the ground, and I wanted to hear more music in that particular vein. And even though I was a bit hesitant towards him upon first seeing his admittedly kinda ridiculous name, there was something absolutely stunning about what he put into albums like these. I heard the first track on this album, Levitation Groove, and I was absolutely blown away by it. The production is absolutely incredible, with lots of expansive ambient pads and bubbly synth grooves, and it had a sticky and really easy memorable hook too. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is exactly what I've come to love in my chill out and down-tempo music. Needless to say, I was hooked pretty quickly, and the second track, Photonic, Phonic, equally wowed me right from the get-go. Bit more energetic this time around, and a lot spacier as well. Everything just seems to expand into the vast beyond, with dramatic but subtle synth strings, little funk-influenced guitars in the background, and layers of interesting synth patterns that create an absolutely captivating atmosphere. I will admit going from there that the album doesn't quite hit the same heights for me as those first 2 tracks. Those first 2 are definitely the best on here, but I do think that it lives up to the promise that those first 2 tracks delivered. The wah-wah guitars of Astro Dream Stream are quite refreshing, even if there's not as much that really sticks out to me about it. It's certainly a more simplistic piece than other ones on here. And the vocal hook of My Thoughts Have Become Visible helps make that one become more catchy. As well as the trumpet licks all over it, all really nice. Fire Within admittedly blends right into My Thoughts Have Become Visible and has never stuck out to me as much as a result. But it is a really refreshing sounding track like all the others. Could have been called Water Within, since the thing that most sticks out to me about it is the flowing water sounds in that one ambient section in the middle. But that title probably wouldn't be as cool sounding. Whatever. Dimension Shift though, ooh man, that's a big standout for me. Almost as big as those first 2 tracks. It's got like 2 sides to it, sort of. It starts out with these light and bubbly synth grooves, accompanied by enveloping and soulful pianos, and then it shifts over to like something a little sneakier sounding with some subtle, vaguely spy movie-ish bass line. And lots of expansive string pads, and it kinda wobbles between those 2 atmospheres at various points. That is among the catchiest and most memorable sounds that Limbrick has worked with, in my opinion. And octave surfing, while never a big standout for me back in my high school days, has been a surprising grower as of late while I was working on this video. It's brighter and more uplifting than the previous track, for sure. The field recordings with bird tweeting that I think were also used by people like BT in his early work like Ima. But also the light piano textures that seem to evoke a sunnier vibe than before, as well as other synth licks, like one vaguely catchy line later on that I never really gave credit for its memorability before. At the very end of this album, we take a turn for the more explicitly spacey. Galaxy Rise has always been a standout to me through its big, expansive grooves and its more memorable piano melodies. Do-do, do-do-do, that do make you feel like you're rising up through the upper atmosphere, provided you discount that part where there's no air and it's impossibly hot and cold parts of the atmosphere that could kill you, but you know what I mean. And the closer space traffic control almost takes on like an artificial intelligence IDM-ish turn, accompanying itself with little flute riffs and voice samples from NASA. Prepare for takeoff. But what makes this closer go the extra mile for me is the ending where the whole track has a switch up from that more IDM-esque sound into some almost funky guitar grooves. And I think that's about all the comments I have when it comes to individual tracks. Overall, while maybe not the most complex album out there, and it does have a bit of new age pretentiousness that might turn some people off, I think Magic Sound Fabric does evoke the kinds of sounds that you would imagine would best go with his track titles. He lives up to the ambitions that he tries to convey. The production on this album is absolutely incredible from front to back, and all of these sounds hit just the right frequency for me to get the most out of it, and just really soothe and relax me, yet still creating melodic lines and interesting sounds that can stick in my head. I understand if not everyone is able to get into it, but this is the kind of down-tempo that has always resonated most with me. If you're a big fan of chill-out outfits like Sounds from the Ground, you'll definitely enjoy Uplift, Drift, and the other Magic Sound Fabric albums, which I'll get into in their own videos. But this is absolutely worth people's time and attention, and I'm overall feeling an 8.3 out of 10. But of course, this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, so leave the comments in the comment thing down there. Shout out to my Patreon supporters. They're awesome people. If you want to add yourself to that list or make me review something, link to my Patreon is in the description. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time.